they're going to put their money on Lotus to come into this. I don't think there was ever a discussion to be had. It was more so in what sort of fashion can 9Pandas get over the line, not if they would. It's a matter of when rather than if. And I mean, they did it in pretty comprehensive fashion, 13-4 on the first map. But Overpass might end up going a little bit way. I mean, you're starting on T side, going to be a little bit of a soft, possibly a slow start depending on how things go. But I mean, with the quality of the players on the server, it could be another whitewash.
We're hoping that's not the case. At least for Lotus, if that does happen, they do have the luxury of the lower bracket to fall back on, right? It's not the end of the world if they lose this game, at least. But let's see, can they take this to a decider? Lotus do have the choice of sides coming into this map. CT side start, no surprise there. Quite a bit of utility for 9Pandas on the pistol round. And I like to see that, Nick. This is what I'm about this life. Get the P250 in play, get some util. Normally you die to the headshot of the USB, so don't waste your time buying Kevlar on the T side, man.
Amen. Amen. Oh, he's got a gush going his way. And there's the P250 clearing things off. And that looks like the A bomb site's going to be vacant. But there is going to be Sego in the backlines. This round pretty much completely hinges on him. It depends when and how he chooses to play around it. Furious is going to try to push the issue. He does have the kit. Now all of a sudden the bomb's getting planted in the smoke. He's trying to knife. He left clicks instead of right. And Sego on the flank. Is he going to get any? He's rubbing shoulders with Seized. They passed each other like ships in the night. Seized! Wake up, old man!
He's going to be able to get the kill. 4 versus 2. No harm, no foul. That's what I say. And it's going to be very difficult. I don't know if Consume and Neo have any chance here. I'd say just save the Kevlar. Lock in the $350 upgrade to head armor in the next. But that's not going to be an option as they've lost their life. And that's going to be 9Pandas opening up first here in the pistol.
And I mean, if you're Lotus, a team that doesn't play Overpass a lot, I think you're literally just looking for... On CT side, this might sound a little bit unfair. You're looking for 9 rounds, like pretty much 8 rounds. That anything less than that, I think you really going to struggle on T side. So the fact that 9Pandas already got the pistol, and I mean, you're forcing on CT side Overpass, which I'm not a massive fan of. I think you're expecting them to play close corners in shorts, in lowers and stuff like that. If you got good protocols, it's exactly going to happen. So I don't know in any which way that Lotus are going to win this round unless there's a massive whiff coming out from one of the 9Pandas side. I think it's just going to be all 9Pandas coming into this. Eco in the next. You have already 3 on the scoreboard. Things looking pretty dire for Lotus if they can't get this round going their way. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a good start to the Force Spy here for Lotus. I do like the way that they're playing the Force Spy. I do agree with the sentiments and the points that you make about the Force Spy in general on the CT side of Overpass. At least they are trying to take some favorable fights, getting in close quarter exchanges and duels. 3 versus 3
all of a sudden.
Yeah, that bomb going to have to go all the way back around through long. I mean, it is the one chink in the armor right now for Lotus. Dilladez, oh my god, great shot out of Consume.
Exchanging dinks with one another. So what 9Pandas do have going for them is the fact that Neo and Mackie don't have head armor to this Mac 10. And that might be the reason why the gunfight will go their way, but it isn't. iDISBALANCE in a 1v3 turned 1v2. No head armor on California Rolls himself and 9 HP on Consume. So iDISBALANCE, is he able to have his wits about him to clear Consume towards the close right corner? No, he's not, and Consume gets the frag. Really important Force Spy win coming through from Lotus.
Yeah, great shots out of Consume in particular. That first kill that he gets on Dilladez was mightily impressive. And then just tucks himself in a great position there to catch off the rampaging iDISBALANCE. And with that, it is going to be Lotus, as you say, winning the Force Spy. 9Pandas is going to try and do to Lotus what was just done to them, but don't have much going for them coming into this third round.
Seldom do you see a Force Spy win with no scout. I think having the scout on the Force Spy is so strong, getting those early kills, but
especially on Overpass, just to get those tags up, lots of long range fights.
Just like that, the round's fallen flat. You don't do anything together. You're not able to get those trades going your way. Now you're in a 3v5, scratching your head. Unless Glowing can work the magic with the Deagle. Oh, you spotted the player. Don't get tunnel vision though, bruv. I'm behind the smoke. There it is.
Yeah, and that's what's going to lead to iDISBALANCE's demise and Glowing. He should know that Sego's coming through, right? He has to realize he's on a timer, but not going to matter.
1v5?
It's going to be a flawless round here for Lotus.
No, 1v5 for sure.
For sure. Okay. Can't wait to see it.
There's the
there
first.
we go. Yeah. It was
Sorry.
close. I mean, yeah, I could see it happening if Lotus timed out of the server.
Yeah, if all of them type disconnect and console at the same time, then, I mean, who am I to call you a liar? And I'm saying if you're going to call out something like that, you know?
All right, well, Lotus, they haven't actually tasted the sweet nectar of the lead at all in the series yet. It's like mother's milk, Nick.
That's one way you could put it. And let's see how things transpire. Full glogs.
You know what I love here? You
Yeah.
can tell Caesar's an OG. He's bought a flashbang in the full eco. He's goated. And look, it's going to lead to a kill here. Go on, lads. Frag Sago. This is what I like to see. The $200 investment. Look at the net economic shift from that one kill. That's an M4 armor, probably a kit, some utility. We're talking 4K that they just managed to deduct from the net worth of Lotus with that one flashbang. A $200 investment. They don't care, Nick. They got a kill, bro.
Yeah, they're finally
Job's
getting
done.
Oh, still it is. Taking clothesline out the ceiling. Now Neo's saying, guys, I've got to eat. I want mine. I want mine.
Yeah. Eats bullets. 2 kills. 9 Pandas invest next to nothing in the round. That's not a bad return. Not a bad return, bruv.
Could be worse. Could be worse. But I mean, now, if you're 9 Pandas, full investment on the board, no AWP up on iDISBALANCE. It's one of the maps which lends itself really nicely towards that T-side AWP, able to search long areas, rather long-sighted areas towards long, towards front bathrooms, towards the A site, killing people, jump spotting, etc. So iDISBALANCE isn't quite going to have that luxury, but it's going to be full rifles on the board. It depends whose opening kill is found. We'll look at the way of 9 Pandas or Lotus.
Alright, well, going to be some early ground taken here by Klaxon towards water. rbfurious has been playing lowers consistently. He's by himself, though. And I think information is the most he could hope for. He's relying heavily on Consume as well to try and give him a passage of exit. It's not going to happen. Great flash, but not capitalized on. So that's 5v3 off the bat. And Lotus have nothing to show for it. I mean, they had a player in lowers, he loses his life out, another individual towards bathrooms. And that's where, as you were mentioning, if you're playing as a group of 5 who don't have much synergy or experience together on this map, you can just get isolated. It feels like a massive map sometimes, like no support, trying to be on the same page. Like there's so much going on the CT side. It can actually be a real struggle. I think Overpass CT side can be really difficult sometimes.
Yeah, I think it lends itself towards, if 2 teams are inexperienced, I think it's pretty easy. I'll hold my thought for a second. Neo, really good points of pressure there towards short. You think it's going to be numbers out short, maybe one guard monster, but meanwhile, numbers coming out short. Sago, he shouldn't even be looking into this. Like, there's no reason for him to even do anything. You're just giving up a rifle. I mean, like, now he can't even buy one coming into the next. Far better for him to save the rifle, try to do some economical damage in the meantime, rather than just throw his life away, essentially. But in terms of Overpass, I think if you have 2 inexperienced teams, I think it favors the CT side a lot more, just because the T side, they don't have their protocols. It's easy to pick them out when they take different areas. But I think on the one team is really comfortable. They have those protocols in place, like the T side currently, like 9 Pandas are. And the CT side is the opposite. Then the flip is switched, right? You're able to get caught out over aggressing. You're able to get caught out in these 2v1 situations because the Ts have numbers in the correct areas. Those are the things that I'd be expecting all the time. I'll be furious. His wits aren't really about him. He might be looking the wrong way. And if you're there's no ways you're not doing this if you're Dilladez.
Oh,
what?
Okay, well, apparently, commentator's curse is a real thing. Nick, with great power comes great responsibility. You'll learn that. Either way, it's not the end of the world because they're able to get the trade. And you know what? That favors the T side in my books, Nick. That 1-for-1. Look how much space is being created off the back of that one kill.
Yeah, for sure.
And how much more can you really expect to get as rbfurious in that position? Klax
good flash.
will lose his life. Yeah, great play.
One thing that might be a theme that 9 Pandas might want to elaborate on in the future rounds is the fact that these 2 A players are playing really disjointed with one another. Consumers often playing in lowers alone, while the other players being their player towards fountains, towards front bathrooms. So if you're 9 Pandas, I mean, What a shot from Glowing. I think if you're 9 Pandas going into the next gun round, I would presume that maybe some 1-2-2 defaults coming out with maybe a solo guy towards A, 2 guys working lows or 2 guys working short concurrently. You're able to pinch that lowest guy out and then threaten a B explode soon after that. Something like that might be working out. California rolls pushing towards mid. Nothing's going to go his way. Now it's just Sego left in the 1v3. Luckily, he is close in the rotation, but again, I don't think there's anything coming from this. He's going to push the smoke. No ways. Of course he is.
Yeah, he has to, though. It's his only chance to try and make something happen. Slinking his way through right now. We'll take down the planter. Bit of damage done to iDISBALANCE, but return damage is fatal. Scoreline leveled up. 9 Pandas regaining control here on their pick. Keep in mind, Lotus obviously are missing Roger, which is one of their key players, right? We're not exactly sure why he isn't playing. He was supposed to play here for Lotus. And, well, I'd say they're definitely missing his presence right now. I did expect a bit more out of Sego, considering how well he had done in the open qualifier against both God Saints and Guild Eagles. Hasn't really brought that level in the series so far.
Yeah, I think Roger's a big miss from them, considering you look at the lineup before and... Nice. Looking at the lineup before, and I think he's one of the first names that really looks at you on the team sheet, so him being out is a really big miss. This round, there's really nothing much to say about. I mean, I'll say that. Now, all of a sudden, 2 kills have gone the way of Lotus, but even then, should be able to clean it up pretty nicely. At least I would hope for their sake.
Yeah, we've seen them have some struggle in these sort of rounds already. They lost against Force by a bit earlier. Ooh, that Desert Eagle brings out a couple of shots, unfortunately, not connecting the way he would have liked. And now it's just consumed left. And you know what, Diladez, he's got all the patience in the world. As I say that, he's going to shift forward. He's got support, though.
Oh, I think he digged into the pole, dude.
Wow, that's just not fair, is it?
Oh, that's a desk smasher out there.
Have you ever broken a mouse before out of rage, Nick?
No. Have you ever broken a table out of rage, though?
I haven't. Well, actually, that's you got me there. That's a good point, Nick. Listen, in my defense, the table was already broken. Okay, the table was already broken, and it just needed a little push.
It's one of my favorite clips of all time.
Damn, does that still get watched?
No, people have lost it, but the people that have seen it, they remember it. It's etched in the memory.
Damn, I didn't know that I was famous for that. I thought it was my costume that people knew me for. Either way.
Dude, I swam in RGL, calling a 2-man low default right here. Like, what the hell's going on here?
All exposure is good exposure, Nick. That's what I'm going to say. Either way, rbfurious. He gets exposed as the smoke is blown open and glowing. He snaps up that kill. Man, this is rough for Lotus. Such an important round, and they've got nothing going for them.
And again, it honestly just comes down to the 2 A players playing so disconnected with one another. Yes, the B player got spammed through the wood at the start of the round, but the 2 A players, they're so disjointed. There's no cohesion with how they're choosing to take these fights with one another. There's no early long setups, any bait and switches towards bathroom, things like this. They're choosing to just play 2 1v5s, which sometimes it does work out, especially if both of them have a really good understanding of how to play the map and the pressure that's being put. But I would prefer them to play a little bit more connected. Flash plays on a timing, double pushing areas, double pushing long, playing crossfires in bathroom, etc. That doesn't seem to be the case. But Lotus seems to have a fairly decent read on the situation. I say that, and iDISBALANCE opens things up, and they do know consumers towards this area. Klax is going to take his name out of the server, and now it's just Maki, the man himself. Do you prefer salmon, crab, tuna, avo?
Tempura prawn is my
Tempura
go-to.
prawn maki.
Not really a fan of any of the raw stuff, I guess. I think it's just like a mental thing. Because I like to eat salmon, just not really in sushi, I guess.
Just when it's cooked, yeah. That's fair.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of tempura prawn, man. Just like I could eat 24 pieces of tempura prawn. Just California rolls, no problem.
Oh, California rolls. Fashion sandwiches. Oh, those get my heart racing, I tell you.
What can Lotus change up here, Nick? I mean, a pause might not be a bad idea. They've played a very similar setup in every round so far on the CT side. You know, committing a player in towards lowers. I wouldn't say it's been working out. Time for some sort of an alteration in the approach.
Yeah, I think something that could work on the next gun round is having a bit of a joker towards A. And what I mean by a joker is a third player playing that bomb site, someone that you wouldn't maybe expect. And you've conditioned 9 Pandas with the lowest smoke pretty much every round. This guy starts there, he throws the lowest smoke in, and that's saying like, okay, cool, I'm in lows. So what I'd say something that they can maybe do is they they have one of the A players playing lowers. They do that low smoke, and they do maybe like a double long aggression at the start of the round, or maybe a mid flash play at the start of the round, something like this, where you make it look similar to what you've done in the previous rounds, even though it hasn't worked. But then you just switch it up with that little extra thing that might get you that opening frag, or at least an opening 2-for-1, which might go their way. So let's see. We do have players going over towards lows already. Maki's playing towards middle. Double long push coming in, but they do only have the pistols, so you do really want like a really wonder of a shot. Actually, they choosing just to play a setup. iDISBALANCE opening things up yet again. He's found a bit of a different form on Overpass than he had on Ancient. Super good start rather, the start of this map.
I mean, it's a really well-rounded performance across the board coming through here for 9 Pandas. Everybody chiming in, everybody contributing. Just have to make sure they don't fall prey to the upgraded pistols. The M4 as well got carried through. And there's going to be contact towards long right now. How good is the utility? Who's playing anti-flash? That's important as well. Sego and Neo working in conjunction. They're going around here for their team. Sego gets the first, but good input found by 9 Pandas. They know there's 2 players committed towards long now.
Yeah, that's a fact that it chooses as to where they're going to put the pedal to the metal. It does look like it's going to be towards that B bomb site rather than A. They've had a fairly good inkling that Lotus is cleared from the start of the round, and maybe this is Clack's communication saying, guys, come back towards B. He's going to lurk out Monster on the time, and they should know that the barrels are always a possibility, but he might be caught looking the wrong way. Consume just round the corner. He's not even going to get hard clear by Clax, and Consume's going to get one. Not able to get the second. Glowing gets the trade, and all of a sudden, Sego is close towards the bomb side. Is he able to get the kill going his way? He's able to get one. He's almost able to get the second. Now it's a 2v2 post plant with Dilladesh trading up to the orb.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward for 9 Pandas with the post-plant positions that they find themselves in right now. They've decided to take up forward positions. Dilladesh, he's going to take the heat off of Glowing, but Glowing, yeah, exactly, position played to perfection, steps out to get the trade. Really good work coming through from 9 Pandas. They kind of recognized there that they had to move forward, right? They couldn't afford to try fall backwards, had to close the gap, and they play off of each other very nicely.
For sure. And I mean, already... worst case scenario for 9 Pandas, you're going to the second half even scoreline, 6-6. And by the way that they're playing in the first couple of gun rounds of this half, I doubt that that's going to be the case. But now we're going to see if they're going to do what I spoke about. But maybe playing a bit more to Joker towards A. They actually should set 4 people towards that area. That lowest smoke doesn't come out. So maybe if you're 9 Pandas, you're communicating that it is something a little bit different. Maybe that is something that's not going to catch 9 Pandas off guard. Dilladesh is going to open things up. They hear the nades getting pulled from close, so flash coming through from Dilladesh. Is he going to clear the close left corner? Oh, he doesn't quite, and not able to readjust too nicely. But now, maybe accelerate towards B. That's what iDISBALANCE tried to do. But Maki's going to take him out. Glowing holding for the aggro, but he's going to lose the gunfight. And
yeah,
the bombs
that's a
spotted.
really big kill. Oh my goodness, rbfurious, he's not going to stop either. He continues to aggress. That's what catches seized off guard. He never expects the aggression to come through there. And now it's only Clacks left remaining, 1 versus 3. Good luck, lad. I think the writing is on the wall and the fate is sealed here. No way to recover this round. Good work out of Lotus. I mean, they have lost 5 consecutive rounds up until this point, but this does keep them in it. What are we thinking for a halftime scoreline here, Nick?
I think it's going to be 7-5, if I were to guess. I think 9 Pandas have another round left in them.
Is that enough for Lotus?
No, I think it's difficult going into T-side Overpass when, especially I think if you're playing Overpass, you're playing default 9 out of 10 gun rounds sort of thing, and if your default isn't good, then you're just going to get picked off. It's not a map that lends itself to super extravagant set pieces. Like, yes, you can do an early set piece towards B, whether it's a short pop, whether it's through lowers or short, or whether it's a B pop through monster, B rush. But there's only so many of these rounds that are going to catch 9 Pandas off guard until they have their anti-rush protocols in place. So I think Lotus, even with 6 rounds, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult. Because as I said, when you're playing default 9 out of 10 rounds and your default isn't up to scratch, it'll be easy pickings for the CT side.
Alright, well, we're going to have to wait and see if that proves to be the case or not. Can Lotus make it 6-all? Would that make you a little bit more optimistic?
Fractionally, just from the perspective of making it a competitive scoreline, but 6 rounds on T side is already, I think if you're 9 Pandas, you're happy. Like, I mean, it's one of those maps where It's like getting 6 rounds on CT side Anubis. Like, you're happy with 6 rounds on CT side Anubis, right? It's similar
you're
ideas.
very happy. I mean, 6 round CT side, you're really happy. I'd say. Either way, let's see. Deep position being taken up by rbfurious. He has been the aggressor so far on the CT side, whether it's in towards Lowers or here towards Fountain. But Lotus has his wits about him. He doesn't just want one, he takes a second. Great awareness there from Dilladez as he clears the corners, and his crosshair placement's on point as well, man.
Now, one thing that Lotus aren't doing as well is they're also on Hing the lowest door. So Glowing, who is defaulting towards lowest, he has so much freedom. He doesn't have to worry about getting peeked from short. He doesn't have to waste his smoke in the door. He can play like really slow, methodical towards that area, knowing that one of the choke points is cut out. So he only has to keep his eyes towards the left. Neo, that was pretty much the open that round.
Yeah, he
in
was.
the bin. But I think it's something that Lotus can maybe start looking at doing. Hing that lowest door, boosting towards short. The short boost can look for the short tunnel as well as the feet of the lowest guy simultaneously. These things could go Lotus's way, but it looks like it's 7 on the board for 9 Pandas. No ways, Mike, you should even be looking into the save the rifle. You're able to get that in the next round. There's no money going your way. You can't even afford the AWP, so he should definitely be saving this, otherwise it's bunch of MP9s. But that's not going to be the case, and that seems to be a broken record. I'm saying Lotus do this, that, and the next thing. Nothing happens. Now, no one can even afford an M4 with a full belt of utility. Let alone full Kevlar.
Rough around the edges here for Lotus. I mean, especially considering they were up 3-1 at one point here, Nick. It looked pretty good for them. But things have fallen apart at a rate of knots since then. 9 Pandas primed to make it another 8-4 halftime scoreline. That's what they had on the first map, and that was enough for them to win the map 13-4 as they shifted into the CT side. Let's see. Not as aggressive from the CT side from the word go, but they haven't really shown many, variations in terms of their setup here on Lotus, have they, Nick? I mean, we will see a bit more aggression in towards water, but we haven't seen any rounds where they've taken it much deeper. They've tried to play from, like, bathrooms and the bomb site itself with an AWP. Made 9 Pandas work a lot harder to get the control. They're constantly giving these gunfights up really early, and 9 Pandas individuals, with them in the form that they are right now, they're so happy to just play against this and just snap up the kills, create the space. Don't even have to do much work to win these rounds, right?
Exactly. You're taking a team that's what, top 17 in Europe, I guess you'd say, with the major qualification. Yeah. So, I mean, they're fresh off that, and oh, that was a bit interesting, but yeah, I think it's a little bit difficult. If Lotus' strategy going into Overpass was like, yes, guys, we'll win our gunfights, I think it's a pretty flawed strategy, as we've spoken about. I mean, he won his. Perfect timing on that one. It was never going to go their way, right? So it seems like Lotus, maybe a little bit of a re-evaluation of the map after the game should be in order. Sego's going to win his. Oh, misshot by iDISBALANCE. Never mind. It's 18 points of health. iDISBALANCE, if he needs to, can trade out to the P250. Reloading in the open, though. It's not going to go his way. So Sego's going to get the next. And now it's Flax left with full HP. Spots the player crossing. He wants to play the headshot angle for whatever reason, even though he knows he's low. Now it comes down to who wins the gunfight. And, of course, it's Clax. And that is the scores of the doors. 8-4 at the half.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life, don't you think? If we go down in history. If we go down in history. How can I save you when you're tangled in your lies? Caught up in the middle, I can see it in your eyes. Lonely in the corner.
Here we go, second half of Overpass. Hopefully not the last half of the series, Nick, because, well, Lotus are in a world of trouble, aren't they?
I mean, the first thing I see, I agree with you, and I see they bought 5 Kevlar, so it's shouting around the world to me. That's what it's screaming, and they've left the bomb and spawn even better.
Mate, there's nothing wrong with the smoke and the flash and around the world.
That's true, but let's see, maybe
I want to
they
see
only
them
need
all
Kevlar.
die to headshots and their Kevlar completely negated. That would make me really happy. I'm such a purist, man. I just want utility. I think 3 players should buy up utility and upgrade the pistols on the T side. Fight me. They are going to do the around the world, though. Yeah, called it. They're going to run straight into the Julies, though. Clax is going to have a field day here. Oh,
they're gonna
mama.
hear everything.
How many does he get? 3?
2.
3.
1.
Go on, lad. Oh, go on, lad.
2.
Go on.
Yes,
I won. Yeah, casters, can we take this game a bit seriously, please? Either way, it is going to be another kill that comes through for iDISBALANCE, and he has no idea Seized is here. No, that is a bit audacious, I think. Nick Seized. He does want to find the lineup. iDISBALANCE has
just hide.
1 hit point, a single. Why is Seized throwing the flash? No! Now you've compromised the position. Now they know you're in the B bomb site now. Oh, goodness. Okay. Sego, he has turned this round on its head.
And he's hearing him running, so now he knows there's no fake.
Yeah, but Sego will know he's been heard here as well, right? But he doesn't care. He's just going all the way. He's going to get the plancher for free. Sego wins this. He's got a USP as well. He's got this one in it, mate. It's locked in.
Or not.
Seen the future. Got the script in front of me. Got back to a safe plant, post-plant position.
Shouldn't tap,
He's going to hunt him.
Just walk, yeah. Just walk.
Oh, Sego. Dum. Yeah, that's unlucky. You can't fault him the way he played that.
Yeah, and I think it's really good the way C's played it as well in the post plant. I think he had a really good understanding of hearing what's going to happen. He didn't doubt himself on the stairs noise. He didn't think like, oh, he's going to make the noise and then go back. So he backed himself. He was able to get towards that rotation pretty quickly. And the pistol goes the way of 9 Pandas. I would say if you're Lotus, I think pretty much your only win condition was that pistol, right? Like now you're staring at 10 rounds to 9 Pandas. Things aren't going to go your way, and I really hope we don't see a force buy on the T side of Overpass like we saw on Ancient.
Yeah.
I guess one could make the argument getting a whole bunch of Galils, going maybe 4 guys long, 1 guy front bathroom with the Galils might be a case in point, but I look at the scoreline and I think maybe not.
I mean, think about how quickly it spiraled out of control on Ancient when they went for the force buy, the follow-up force buy. They didn't get a full proper gun round. I'm not even sure they did. So yeah, I really hope they do just eco out here and get the AKs in the round afterwards, you know, full utility to work with as well, and then we can see what they're capable of. But really, it has just been the 9 Pandas show so far.
Yeah, I mean, now that it's a bit of a technical pause, I wanted to know if you wanted to break any news to the Counter-Strike fans out there.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, Nick, because we did get some news in between the maps, and it was that Astralis have made a change. And it's not the coach change, it's not that Rug has come into the mix in place of Veronic, not that anybody knew who he was. Blame F he's been booted. He's received he's received an exit pass. I don't know, Nick. It's pretty rough, man. I know they needed an IGL, but BlameF was their best rifler, no?
Yeah, I think it's a bit difficult, just because like BlameF as an IGL, has he shown that he's a tier 1 IGL in the world ever?
Well,
You know,
yeah.
One
No.
can argue that that's not the case. As a rifler, perfectly serviceable, right? I'm not going to sit here and say BlameF's a bad player, but as an IGL for a team that wants to win tournaments, which is exactly what Astralis have done with buying Stown and Yabi, that's a statement. They're saying we're here to win tournaments.
Yeah,
and I
spent
think
$2 million, mate.
Exactly. They gave BlameF a go.
Yeah.
Didn't qualify for the major, and I mean, pretty much, I think that's the nail in the coffin, right? I don't think Astralis are going to accept anything less.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to throw at you. What if they kept BlameF and they brought in Hooksy as the IGL?
No, wouldn't work.
Not gonna work.
Nah.
You're not vibing it. Not buying it, hey?
Because
Okay.
out of the other 4 players, what is your reasoning for dropping a player like Stair, right? Who's been their best player? Like, or why would you drop Yabi
It
and
would
Stown?
just be like
Because
the
it doesn't
name
make
value.
any sense.
You can't drop Yabi and Stown. They've spent so
Exactly.
much money on them. That's out of the question. Obviously, you're not dropping Device. So it's got to be between Stair and Blame. Yeah, okay, maybe when you do replace Blame with Hooksy, bring Hooksy into IGL for the team. I saw Tea Time suggested maybe you send Blame to G2 there and then get Nexa to IGL.
That would be like one of the swap deals of the century in Danish. Yes, that would be like one of the craziest thing ever. I don't know what Danish IGL really jumps out at me, because I mean, obviously, I mean, Snappy's now at Falcons, Glaive is obviously now at Ents, so it becomes a little bit difficult. Exactly. So, and as Astralis, do you want to take a chance with someone, especially when you spend so much money with Stan and Yabi? The answer is a definite not. The answer is definitely it's not a project as much as people want to try say it is. It's definitely not one. It's something that Astralis are expecting trophies next
hit
week.
The ground running.
Exactly. It's like, I think it's the same as Falcons. No one's ever treated Falcons like a project. I think that's why no one was surprised Boros was dropped, right? And I think Boros is a fantastic player. I think he's completely serviceable. But he's a project player for sure. He's a player that can grow into his role. And Falcons was the opposite of that. Falcons was spend however much money, win tournaments next week. And I think Astralis was exactly the same. And I think there's a couple of rosters that were a little bit different, like the G2 roster when they picked up Hooksy and JKS. I think it was accepted that they were a little bit of a project to start off with because of their trophy drought for a long time. But when Astralis came out, they said they're buying Stan and Yabi. It was never a case of it being a project. You got 4 top 20 players in that team, or now 3. So it is a question mark as to who they are going to get as an IGL, because are you going to get a player with a similar play style as BlameF in terms of being that lurk star player IGL? Are you going to get a selfless leader like a Hooksy sort of IGL? I don't know.
The problem is you're just so limited for options, right? Because looking at the rankings here, they don't want to go international, right? You have to look for another Danish person to bring in now as the IGL. And there aren't any IGL contenders on Astralis. I mean, I know there was a period where I think Heroic were considering Stowen calling when Cadian had left the team, but you're definitely not going to go in that direction. And then I don't know where you would go. I mean, there's the Ecstatic team who have recently qualified for the major. Patty is calling for them. He used to be a part of the Astralis Academy team before, so maybe it'll be such a big gamble to pick up somebody like Patty, relatively unproven prospect. I don't know where that go, man. If anybody's wondering, we are just waxing lyrical here in podcast mode because there are some tech issues on the server. So instead of going to a holding screen and playing music, we decided to just have a conversation. But I mean, Astralis had to have made the decision to cut BlameF with a move in mind, right? They wouldn't have cut BlameF and then gone to the boardroom and said, okay, guys, what's the next move? What are we going to do from here? There had to have been some sort of a plan.
Yeah, I agree. I think Patty is like, it's like a massive coin flip. I think TMB and Bird from Sky are similar. I think those are 2 players that can be serviceable in the IGL role, but we're talking about Astralis finding an IGL that makes them the best in the world, because or at least top 5, right? And
nothing else is acceptable.
Exactly. So, and looking below that, like, who's going to be the names? The one name that maybe is like, this is a really, really, really bold shout, and the likelihood of it happening is like 0.1% is Tesses. Because when Cadian went out of Heroic, Tesses called for that month or so. Okay. But then again, it's the same thing. Like, is Tesses going to be that IGL that's going to make you top 5 in the world?
This is not a project. This is a super team. You can't bring in a gamble like that, right?
Exactly. So I mean,
Maybe
SDY
Nico's
has
vision will
just been
finally
dropped.
work out, man.
Maybe,
know,
maybe.
Next,
yeah,
next to
true.
take over as IGL, Hooksy departing to Australis.
I mean, if you're Carrigan, do you want to go to the most historic Danish organization
Yeah.
ever? That's a
Why
shout,
not?
you know.
I feel like Carrigan has unfinished business with that Australis lineup because remember, he was the one that built them up the entire way, and then he walked so Glaive could run, right? That's the sentiment.
Yeah.
So can he go back there and win the trophies that it feels like he rightfully deserves with, Device at his side? The youngsters like Stowen, and imagine Carrigan at Stowen and Yabby at his disposal as two of his pawns,
Do you think that's an upgrade from Frozen and Rops? Stowen and Yabby?
No, I don't think you could say it is.
I
I think
think
it has potential to be like, if we're betting on potential maybe, but, based on results, definitely not.
Yeah, I think the only reason why Carrigan would feasibly go is because of him being Danish and his affinity to the Australis organization.
And a new
completely
challenge.
warranted. Yeah, for sure. But I guess, like, looking at it on the flip side, Carrigan, he's been in that GOAT conversation for a while in terms of that RGL role. Obviously, Glaive being the player that pretty much beats him out by most metrics. So if you're Carrigan, if you're trying to battle for that GOAT status, is the move to Australis helping that, or is staying with FaZe?
I think it's a
gonna
risk.
get you...
I mean, I've heard him say in the past he wants to finish his career at FaZe, and he's already got something really solid going with the players that he has in that team, right? And he's built that up. He has been part of what's built the identity. But I think in terms of like a baller move to take that risk and that gamble, if you make that and then you make it work, that's like undisputable, right? So,
maybe Australis are going to spend all their money on buying out Snappy. Maybe that's the play.
that would be such a disaster for all in sundry. It's got to be Glaive or Carrigan.
It's crazy how that interview came out that blasted that Launders did with Zonic and Snappy, I believe, and he said openly that he thought Nico was on the team. That's why I said yes. And I was like, this is crazy, you know? Like,
I mean, whose fault is that? They're probably using Nico as leverage to bring other people in.
Exactly, for sure. And I mean, it's all rumors. Like, obviously, there's a couple people who know the real story, but listening to the rumors that were on the Talking Counter podcast a while ago, it was that Hunter was joining Vitality in place of instead of Mezzi. It was Nico was going to join Falcons, and it was Monacy that was going to join Cloud9. And because Nico stayed, everyone stayed put. And then obviously JKS got the short end of the stick. So it makes you wonder, like, what could have happened if all those shifts happen? Because then all of a sudden you've got G2 with Hooksy and JKS. Who's the other three players that are going to join that team, you know? Yeah. It shows, like, how, in a way, dispensable these different players are. They're all just cogs in a big system. I mean, Blamef getting dropped from this team, I agree with you. There's no ways Australis are just going to drop him and be like, yeah, we'll look for an IGL in a month's time. Like, that's never going to be the case. Like, there's no doubt they have a short list of players, and it just comes down to who they are. Because are they going to go international? I doubt it, because it's Australis. It's the Danish organization.
Yeah,
but in the same in the same respect, like, maybe going international is the only option. Because can they get Hooksy? I'm not sure. Can they get Snappy? No. Can they get Carrigan? Probably not.
It's not even about... I don't even think you can consider that as Australis. You know, they are the backbone of Danish Counter-Strike. You go to Denmark, they walk around on the streets. They're the biggest heroes in the country from an esports perspective. It's you know, I think part of their investment, a big part of the traction is that they have that Danish team. And I think moving away from that would then probably spoil a big part of a lot of their attraction for a lot of people. So I think that they have to stay Danish. I think it's out of the question for them to go international.
Do you think there's any chance they pick up Dupree again and they get someone else to call, like Device? Like a Device becomes a caller, or Stair becomes a caller?
If that's the case, I think Dupree would be a better candidate. But you know what, Nick? I'm sure people are really tired of hearing us ramble on about Australis. So you know what? We're going to be jumping back into the game here, guys. Apologies. Tech issues have been resolved, and Overpass is live once again. And 9 Pandas... Well, they won the pistol, obviously, with C's closing out the 1v1, so potentially a formality from here, Nick. Lotus have decided to force buy as well. I mean, they did get the plant, so it makes sense.
Yeah, they can definitely do summon. They can cook summon with the long-range gunfight, so... but I mean, you're instantly starting around with one player on 50 HP, and Maki use one-shot headshots, and rbfurious, he's given away his life, so... It looks like it's got 9 Pandas on the round. Now they've shown their hand. Galil's been heard towards middle. Glowing's playing close range headshot angles. He's going to peek up on the timing. He's able to get one. Great flash from the B bomb side, but only one is going to go his way. iDISBALANCE not able to win the gunfight, and now all of a sudden it's 3v3, but Klax is going to be the nail in the side. He's able to get one. Come around the corner. I think Sego's timed out or something
Must
like
be,
this.
right? Has to be.
That's so difficult. What an important round to go down as well.
Oh man, just wave the white flag at this point. That's really unfortunate, as you say. Such an important moment that he times out. It was looking pretty bleak there at the start of the round for Lotus when they lost the first two players. I like that Klax had no hesitation in committing to the flank, right? He knew that Lotus would be firmly fixated on trying to get onto that A bomb site. He knows that there's a lot of footsteps being made, and the likelihood of him being heard is really slim. So I like that he just rushes straight up behind him on the flank, and he had a second player, and it looked like the second player was playing a bit slower. So if Klax did end up dying, then that second wave would come through immediately afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even though Sego looked like he timed out towards the end of the round, I think the writing was on the wall already, right? I think even if Sego's got 1 ping and 0% loss, the best 5 in the world, it wouldn't really go his way. And this is just going to be a formality for the side of 9 Pandas. iDISBALANCE is eating. He's enjoying this.
Yeah.
Nice little padding of the stats. 11 on the board for 9 Pandas. Gun round coming in next round for Lotus. Seized, his glasses weren't quite on there, so he took a little bit longer to react. But 11-4, really big uphill battle for Lotus now.
And you could almost argue maybe a slight overinvestment in the previous round from a few players getting those upgraded pistols. I know you as an IGL, Nick, that's a pet peeve for you because now everybody is short a piece or 2 pieces of utility coming into this massively important gun round.
One mollo, you mollo short.
That's all they've got.
You don't have a mollo for divider. You don't have a mollo for balloons.
Might as well just write a B exec off altogether.
Exactly.
Not execing in towards B without a mollo, that's for sure.
Amen.
Alright, well, let's see. What can they put together? Opening up once again is iDISBALANCE with that AWP. I like to see him taking a bit more initiative. Looking for those opening kills for his team. The full 30 bullets from Dilladez sprays through the wall. A lot of damage done, but not fatal. The nade, however, is smoke phase coming through. iDISBALANCE is looking for it. This guy's switched on right now, man.
In the meantime, the HE did the dunk towards the B bomb site, so I love that. Spraying 30 bullets through the wood. It's like you're not saying no. You've tagged him. Yeah. You're getting the kill. Or dying in the meantime. Tags him down super low. Now, Sego and Neo, like, pretty much call it a day, right? There's pretty much, unless they're able to get like 1-6 shot on glowing jump spotting or something like this, that's pretty much the only way they'll have a route back into this round. iDISBALANCE, as I'm saying that, is rotating up towards the A bomb site. Glowing on the contact, you'll be able to either smoke in front of him or smoke front bathrooms. One of the two. 50 damage HE. Focus their crosshairs towards one area. Peeking off the iDISBALANCE's contact is what's going to happen. First going to go his way. Glowing peeks out. Second going to go the way of 9 Pandas. And that's match points on the board.
Nick, have you played this game before? Looks like you have an idea of what's going on here, man.
I'm just... you play this game completely or feels. You either have it or you don't, you know?
Alright, I see. Feels and feels alone. 12-4. Feels like we're going to have a replica of the first snap scoreline. Yeah, they're just like firepower, AKs, screw head armor, screw utility. Consume knows what's up, man. I rep Consume. Check, he goes Galil, then he gets head armor, smoke into flash as well. That's my kind of player right there.
Maybe V-pop. Something like this. Probably the case. Shifting out monster with 1 flash. The setup's so good. There's no way he's going to win this round. Setup is so good.
You put the wood on
goes away. Writing's on the wall, in my opinion. Flash comes through. Cut out the bomb site. A couple more kills are probably going to go the way of 9 Pandas shortly. Oh, HE the smoke. Dylan is saying, what's going on there?
Oh man, he's going to be able to find a kill. In fact, it's Glowing who robs him. Numbers looking even for the time being. Dilladez, somehow his position not expected there. 2 versus 1 for rbfurious to try and keep his team in the mix. Or for iDISBALANCE, not going to hit the shot, but iDISBALANCE says, don't worry, mate, I've got it. And that's just a wonderful performance coming through there from 9 Pandas. Nick, they did not lose a single CT-sided round in that entire series.
Yeah, and I think that just proves that they've got that they cross the R's and dot the R's and cross the T's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So really, really solid performance coming out from them, and I think they proved their worth. We were questioning.